Okay, buongiorno. Okay, this is Steve down in the south of Italy, and well, the most important thing on everyone's mind at the moment is the coronavirus. So, right, let's take that off because I'm not going anywhere at the moment, and we'll take this off because it does pretty much nothing. With the masks, it's great. If you have some infection, it will stop you infecting other people, but it does very little to do anything to prevent you getting the disease. So if anybody's trying to con you out of something like €5 or $5 for a mask, it's not worth your while. It's great for health professionals where they're dealing with sick people all the time, but for the general public, I'm afraid it's not a lot of use. Okay, right, let's start. Normally I'm talking about what's going on here in Italy. Um, when I did my last YouTube video, we'd just gone into partial lockdown, and then that was superseded about a day later by pretty much a total lockdown. All we have open at the moment are pharmacies, doctors, and food stores. Oh, and fortunately for me, the odd tobacconist. Here in Calabria, I did give you some figures, but I think they might have been misprinted because it said 3 to 4. I think it was actually 34 people diagnosed with coronavirus in Calabria. This is the update from 24 hours ago. We now have 60 people who've tested positive. 33 of them are at home. One has recovered. 22 in hospital and 4 in intensive care, with another 4,700 in voluntary isolation at home. Right, here we go. I'm trying not to do this politically. Now, the Italian government, in the first week or two, they made some mistakes, but it was dropped on them very rapidly. Within 2 weeks, they started putting it right. They did isolation within the north and tried to control it there. They've done a lot of testing, and they've done very well in stopping it from reaching the rest of the country with large infections. In the UK, they're working on a slightly different system, but maybe that's because it's an island, maybe because they've got more control over what's going on over there with limited influx of possible infections. I'm not sure. I don't know whether it's right or wrong, but I can understand what they're doing. Their idea is to flatten the curve so that the hospitals aren't overloaded, which basically means the virus is going to last longer, but there won't be so many people infected at one time. Now, this is where I'm going to get a bit political because I know, a number of my friends in America will see this, and I'll be honest, I'm really worried about what's happening in America at the moment. There's been a lot of misinformation going around in America, and perhaps on both sides. There's been contradictions within the administration, even as to how good things are, how bad things are. I'm sure all of you by now know, if I can pronounce it right, Dr. Fauci. He seems to really have a handle on what's happening. In the beginning, the first infections in Italy and the first infections in the United States, there wasn't a great deal of difference. Around they were, I think they were both recorded around about the same time, end of January. But it was, I'll be honest, it was very minor in America at the time. Now, calling it a Chinese virus, and now it's become a European infection, hasn't helped. Viruses do not take any notice of borders. When a virus is in, it's in. The stopping of flights across from Europe to America, yeah, I can quite understand that. But the problem is when you have absolutely no infrastructure in place for when those people returned. And so I think it was O'Hare Airport. There was something like 40,000 people all squeezed together. And I've no doubt at least some of them were infected. That is the best way of spreading the virus. Over here, people just naturally keep at least 2 meters apart. I mean, the recommendation is that, you know, you're not likely to get it if you're less than, if you're 2 meters apart and you're with someone less than 10 minutes, you're not likely to pick it up. It's not impossible, you might. But when you squeeze 40,000 people together for, I think it was something like 4 hours, that's a great way of spreading the infection. I mean, America's had 2 months to sort out their testing program. And a long time ago, the World Health Authority or the World Health Organization offered to supply testing kits for the United States. But the administration said they didn't want them. America first, we'll produce our own. The first lot of testing kits didn't work. I'm not sure what the problem was, but apparently they didn't work. So they had to go back and go again. That took about another 2 weeks. Now, that's put America something like 3-4 weeks behind everybody else in testing. And what has been proved all over the world is the sooner you start testing, the sooner you can sort out where the hotspots are, and then the sooner you can start to work on the problem. I mean, I was going to do this video about 2 days ago, but things just keep moving on. And I mean, actually, I've got a load of notes down here, and you'll see me keep looking down. I've had to cross out stuff and change things, what I'm doing. And then I'm trying not to be political, but I have to. Last night, in American time, Donald Trump came on and said, it's all under control. It's not. He doesn't even know what the problem is yet. Until there's been enough testing, you can't know what the problem is. So he can't know that it's under control. And then after him, Dr. Future came on and said, it's going to get worse. And it is, believe me. I keep hearing commentators on American television saying that you're 2 weeks behind Italy. So what's happened in Italy will be happening in America in 2 weeks. I think because of the delay in testing, you might even be a bit further behind. And so you're not going to be getting spikes and the top of the curve for 2 or 3 weeks yet. Once the testing is in full swing, and it's getting there, I appreciate now it is getting there, the number of confirmed cases is going to go up. I mean, I've also been, where I am in Italy, I do have access to multiple news outlets. So I've been looking through statewide television as well. And I mean, well, let's go through some of them. I've looked through Louisiana, Georgia, Tennessee, Pennsylvania, and several others. And I don't know whether they're Republican or Democrat. I don't care. I mean, I care about people's health. Now, they're all putting in more restrictive measures, which will help. But there just seems to be no central control, no federal control at the moment. The only thing everybody seems to be concerned about in the federal is what the stock market's doing. Yeah, I appreciate there is a problem, but surely the health of the nation is more important. I mean, America had, I think the first infection was something like January the 28th. So they've had close to 2 months to get all this stuff in place. And not a lot seems to have happened until the last few days. I'm sorry, I keep looking down at my notes because I've been crossing stuff out and doing things. I'm delighted to see that many of the states doing Democratic primaries have cancelled them, because all that would do would be to serve to extend infections, so that at least that's something. Sorry, I'm just looking down here now. Right, let's flick again. Oh yeah, I mean, we keep hearing about, you know, you're 2 weeks away from Italy or whatever. Let me explain. In America, well, you probably know better than I do, you don't have a health system as such. You have a health sector. Now, in Italy, we actually have twice as many hospital beds per 1,000 people as you do in America, because America is a profit-based system. And here in Italy, admittedly, it's like mainly up north, the health system, the hospital system, has been totally overwhelmed. I mean, I expect now, within the next week or so, once the testing is rolled out more, you're going to find a severe spike in the number of confirmed cases. And I think they were saying about sorting out National Guard or whatever and setting up military hospitals. I think you're going to need it. I'm sorry, this is the most difficult one I've done. The shutdown we have here in Italy has helped to control the virus, but it can be 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks, from the date of infection to when you show symptoms. So the problems we're having now, even a week after the total shutdown, is not what happened a week ago. It's what happened 2 weeks ago. Now, at the moment in America, you don't even have that, apart from what's been put in place by the states. I'm sorry, this is really difficult, because I'm trying to do things. I'm trying not to be political, but there just seems to be no central control by the administration over what's been going on. I'm just going to have a look now and see how we're doing. Right. I mean, this is in particular for all my friends over in the States, as I say. And I think what you've got to do is look after yourselves at the moment until there's a concerted effort and stuff put in by the administration to get a nationwide system in place. At the moment, as I say, I heard that there's supposed to be about 1.9 million tests available shortly, but not everybody's being tested. And in a few weeks' time, there'll be 5 million tests available. I'm not even sure that's going to be enough. It definitely won't be enough to test everybody. I think I'm terribly sorry. I think it's going to be really bad, and there's been so much misinformation spread, not just from official sources but from unofficial sources as well. I was on a YouTube channel, and one guy said, well, only 99.7% of 99.7% of people under 50 recover. Yeah, well, if you've got 1 million people, that's a lot of deaths, even under 50s. And at the moment, on the World Health Organization sites, you're looking at a death rate of something like 8 to 9% of over 70s who get this disease dying. That's going to be one hell of a lot of people. Look, I think I'm going to have to leave it there. There's just so much stuff that I'm and as I say, I'm more worried about America than anywhere else, because you just seem so unprepared at the moment. I think you just need to listen to Dr. Fauci. He's the one that seems to be talking sense. And I'm afraid the political side just seems to be more concerned about how the stock market's doing. And obviously, as you've seen from the big drop of today, they're not being reassured because they don't know what's going on. They don't know what's happening in the States. At least here in Europe, I'll be quite honest, I feel much safer here in Italy than I would in America at the moment, because I'm trying not to be a doom monger. I mean, this thing is not the Black Death. It's not like Stephen King's The Stand. But believe me, it's not the flu. It is a respiratory disease. It is more fatal than the flu. And I mean, I think Donald Trump was saying, oh, there was about 27,000 people died of the flu. There's only been sort of like, what is it, 60, 70 people die of this. Yeah, but you haven't had the infections yet. Okay, you're not going to have a 99% death rate like The Stand, or between 1/3 and 1/2 of the people in Europe die of the Black Death. But it is a serious disease. It's something that needs to be taken seriously. Here, look, I'll show you. Here I am in Italy. Okay, now this is a marina, usually very busy. I don't know if you can see this. There's still a couple of people walking around. I'm going to turn this around, and there's some people walking around. There they are. They've got masks. If you see anyone, they will walk away from one another. People keep distance. Whilst being in the airport, 40,000 people were rammed up against one another. They will... There is bound to have been some COVID virus in that, and it will have been transferred. I mean, I will come back and I will do something else in a minute. But in the meantime, ciao ragazzi, look after yourself. If you're in America, please share this with your friend. I'm not trying to frighten anybody, but please take it careful, look after one another, and I will see you soon. Please subscribe. I'll try to keep you up to date with the information I'm getting, let you know what's happening over here. But in the meantime, see you soon. And I'll try and post something else in about a day's time. Ciao.